Okay, so let's start. Welcome to what I'm calling Season 2 of Inane Blather. Yeah, just an arbitrary cutoff. We've done 30 episodes, and this is number 31. And, the podcast that asks you...
You're pooping the bed?
No, but just exactly what the title implies, Inane Blather from a couple of morons that like to talk about things regardless. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, we're just...
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
But the thing is... We're also that at the beginning of the day. I don't know why it has to be the end of the day, but, it's all day, every day, right?
All day,
right.
ED.
Yeah. And to that intro, I'd say...
That was, and I don't say this lightly, worse than 100 September 11th.
That's really funny.
Classic.
It's a Bojack.
Yeah. And so, I could just use all the new drops right now, new season, and I'll say to both of our ardent listeners...
Wingus, dingus, listen up.
This is the new podcast. But it's been a little while. I wanted to... postpone like a day, and then Natalie's like, how about we do it next year? I hate doing this podcast. And I was like, but no, it's just been like 10 days, I think, since the last time we recorded.
We normally do it on...
No one would ever know because I never upload them in a timely fashion.
Timely schmimely.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get an upload 4 days after the other one, and then have to wait another 10 days. But generally it averages out to once a week. So,
yeah,
who knows how much? Maybe I'll do this one tonight, and I'll just put it right up there. Not the video on YouTube, because all you YouTube listeners, I don't care about you in the slightest.
That's me. I don't listen to it on Spotify.
It's because it's all just women that listen on YouTube. So, and
I can comment on there. That's why I like it.
I'm just trying to introduce another new drop so I can get them all out of the way. But that's what they say about me.
I don't even care that he's a misogynist.
Yeah, so and I would think what sums up my role on this show, or really like in our family, in my community, sums up my role in life.
I think it's interesting that a person this pathetic can also be a genius whose name will never die.
Yeah, so
yeah,
coming
that's what
from
you think,
ContraPoints
huh?
herself. Yeah, that's what she was saying about me.
Oh,
Friedrich Nietzsche. I don't want to meet you.
Yeah, that's it. I was trying to think of something, but I'm glad I didn't attempt it.
But so just having new drops just really fills up some time, which is great. Gets us into the mood. I mean, it's just like today. It's like, okay, well, let's start. I mean, I have stuff written down to talk about. I really wanted to do the podcast and all that, but when I'm starting, I'm just like, I don't know.
It's like, what is this? Just a couple of guys having a conversation?
Who the hell wants to listen to that? Yeah, I don't care about that part. No one wants to listen to this. No one does listen to this. But no, just sometimes I'm really not in the mood. But as soon as we're recording and I'm just hitting buttons and interrupting you and just playing clips and stuff, I'm like, all right, okay, I could do this for
now I'm in
a
my
couple
wheelhouse.
hours, really. Yeah, now this is what I'm talking about.
Stop.
But yeah, I have a couple things that we had on the old soundboard, but
new season, new soundboard.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
that you
so.
say that.
Yeah. Well, there are only like my last one. The last one has like, what is it, like 65 different sounds on it, and sometimes it would take me a while to get to them. Now there's a lot less to go to.
There's a lot fewer,
and
actually.
a lot less overall sound to go with, and way fewer sound bites.
You what?
but I'm going to play them all in the first 5 minutes, and it'll make sure that the episode is
not good.
There we go. Okay. Anyway.
Nice. That was excellent.
So, yeah, we postponed. You've been busy. You've been doing a great job. You've
getting promotions.
You got a promotion, and yeah, you've been doing quite well. Correct?
Quite well.
You had a good
indeed.
week.
I did. I had an excellent day today. Actually, it was a really great day. A lot of great conversations, people getting involved, and it was absolutely so incredibly beautiful.
Fine.
It was a clear, it was a clear day and sunny, though it was cold. But you could see, the mountains. Mount Rainier and all the mountains surrounding, too. It was a totally clear day. There was no clouds. That's why it was so fucking cold. Oh, my God. It's like when the sun goes down. Wow. But,
Yes.
Incredible day.
It was very cold here, too.
Yeah.
And a great way to stay in shape. It was the same here. I mean, because it snowed a couple days ago, and it was like really cold snow. It's like that ice planet Hoth, powdery, crystallized, frozen crap. But it just really dropped over here. I was like, crap, that's right. I haven't even been using my fireplace or anything. Then suddenly I was like, geez, my little heater keeps clicking on, and I didn't even think about it. I finally just checked. I was still inside. and I was about to go to bed, and I looked at my phone. I was like, "Oh, it's like 12 degrees outside."
Yeah, probably put a heater on.
Yeah, exactly. I should start a fire. So I burned down the neighbor's house, and that only lasts so long.
Yeah, especially with the fire department. Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, it's like, I don't remember paying you guys.
Thought this was America. And I could just do what I wanted.
Like, we have like this social program or something paid for by taxes. I guess all of these cop-loving, firefighter-loving right-wingers are just prancing around yelling,
I love Karl Marx.
just more leading into soundboard crap. But
I love Karl Marx.
Who is that?
That's Nick Mullen.
Oh, that's so funny.
I love Karl Marx. But no, it was just, it was really cold. But it hasn't been too bad. It was just, I felt like I had gotten out of it, even that I knew that it's February, there's going to be another little snap. But I was saying that today, where it's like, gosh, I feel like I'm wearing all the same stuff that I was like in December when it was insanely cold, and I just had to get used to it. It's like I had the same, coat over my jacket, over my long sleeve, 2 pairs of socks with my wool socks, and yada yada. So it's like I'm still just wearing my normal work stuff, but it kept me warm enough, like to not be that bad. Same gloves, and then today it's like, I already got used to it being 50 during the day. Like,
I don't know if it's just because of that.
I hate it. It feels cold.
Biting. It's been really cold here too. Like we were trying to warn like our boss. He was coming out canvassing with us, and he'd been in the office the day before, and we had been saying how cold it was, and he's like, I keep warm, whatever. And then by the end of the day, he was like, so cold. Yeah. Like, we're like, exactly. It's like colder than normal. Like, the feels like is like 6 degrees lower than the actual temperature. Yeah. Like, any sort of breeze is like, ooh, my face.
Well,
like,
you saw what it was here. I sent that picture. Yeah, that was the problem, is that usually the wind picks up and it brings something warm in. And I see a jump in the temperature. I'm like, well, we're going to have a couple of pretty windy days. But it was the opposite. And it was still just blowing winds when it was, it was 16 degrees in the morning, feels like 1.
Yeah.
And then yesterday was even better. It was, felt like 0 is what the Google was saying. It's like anything down there, yeah, it all feels like 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds about right.
Very cold.
but the issue, so since you didn't ask,
I was gonna say I've been having a great time. Things have been going great for me. Actually, it's been really nice, and so I was gonna ask. That's gonna lead into how have things been going for you?
I couldn't hear you. No, no, it's just been. It hasn't been terrible, but it's like it's been shitty. I don't know. It's just really lame. Everything's
somewhere
just
between
been
shitty
so
and terrible.
fucking stupid. Yeah, it's like, things could be a lot worse, but I'm on like week 3 of still having like kind of a residual cold. It's really driving me crazy. Like okay. So here's the thing, right? So I'm already like dealing with just some crap. I've got a lot of stuff to do, a couple different bills piling up here and there. I'm making ends meet. Things just aren't fun. I hate
hard.
the winter.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then, of course, we talked about it before, and my toilet seat broke and just all this, and I get sick. And then, even just the other night, like I was just up coughing all night.
Oh.
But the thing that really got me the other night is that I wake up coughing, and I can't tell if it's just me through my bleary, like, mental state, like it smells in my house. And I'm like, what the heck? No, please, no. And I was right. And for the last 3 days, there is a skunk loose under my house, and it is the worst. And I'm just like, I'm gonna have to like trap this skunk. I'm gonna have to take care of this somehow. Like there's, about the ramshackle shit shack that I live in.
That you
but
own.
It's a work in progress. Yeah, it's a work in progress. But there's this whole section of the house that's, not livable. And an animal is obviously in there, the skunk. And that's what got me the other night is I was already dealing with like this cough and stuff. I was like, and then the dogs ran out and they weren't cuddling with me, and then they started barking, and I was like, what the heck? It's like 2:00 in the morning. And like I was like, what is going on? And then when I woke up the next time, at like 4 a.m., I was like, oh, what is that smell? Oh no. And it's just when you walk into my front door through like the mud room where the dogs are, it reeks. It's like you got sprayed by a fucking skunk. I'm like, no.
Oh my God.
It's the worst. And I'm like, for one thing,
I can taste that in the back of my throat right now. I know exactly what that smell is, and that is really it's pungent. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it's a fucking skunk. Ooh. It's our best little forest friend. And that's what sucks. It's like, even going through all this to get rid of it, it's like, skunks are cool. They're little animals and stuff. And it's like, talking to my friend who's like, well, so what we had to do, you get the trap, and as soon as they're out, you take the 22 and you just shoot them while they're in the cage.
Oh my
like,
God.
I don't want to do that. No. It's like, but what are you going to do? Go pick it up while it's alive and just get sprayed up and down in your eyes or something? Like, what do you do?
You know what?
And I'm like, ugh.
We were talking before this about you had just had some complaints that weren't like systemic issues and blah, 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 blah. This is something that is like it should be that you could call someone.
It kind of exists outside of our capitalist like type of thing. It's like it's not capitalism that's pushing me down. It's just I have a problem with a skunk loose in my house.
No, but you know what? But that's capitalism right there. People don't have a choice like to live like in a house or whatever, and like animals exist in the world that we live in. Like that would be something. It would make a lot more sense. Like to live, like side by side with animals, or at least, in a way that's like in some sort of harmony, that it would be something where you could call someone and be like, there is a skunk here. They would come, they would tranquilize it or whatever that they do and take it somewhere else instead of it having to be killed just because it's living in town. And it wouldn't have to be at someone's expense because it's like a societal understanding of like living in harmony with nature, because we have to live side by side. So boom, there we go. Systemic issue.
Well, yeah, you could go do a lot more with it too. I mean, it's true. The whole fact that, that the skunk could be where it is because, I have a halfway destroyed section of my house that I'm living in, that I'm raising my family in, that I cannot possibly afford to just fix like right now. It's like it's a long work in progress. It's going to cost a lot of money. On top of that, I don't really want to call people out to my house to have them take care of it, like animal control or something like that, because I don't want like some inspection of my house and then be like, you can't live here because look at this room and you need work on your foundation and that's why there's an animal in here. It's like, I don't want to run that risk. And it's like, I also don't want to live in an unsafe home, but you got to do what you got to do.
That's an example, of people being afraid to get help for things, like in a way different way, obviously, like people who are not like citizens here in the United States being afraid to call the police for
my
help
struggle is exactly like that. It's true. No, but I mean, except it's worse because I'm because
you got a skunk.
I'm the most persecuted person. Yeah, and I have a skunk. And
imagine a skunk.
It's like they're black, but they smell like white people.
Yeah, because that's the white part. Yeah,
they've been known to.
But it's just that. So last week it was like the little icing on the cake was the toilet seat breaking, and then this week the icing on the cake was there's a skunk in my house. It's like, because of the issues with don't spread this around for these thousands of listeners. I don't want my insurance company showing up. But because of the lack of a floor in one of the rooms that was destroyed through water damage and stuff before I got the house, then something that gets into the crawl space can be like on the other side of the wall. That's the problem, is that, I think skunks have been down there a few times before. I've heard animals scratching under the bathtub. It freak you the fuck out at like 3 a.m. But there's like animals or mice or some, things like that. And I put poison down there, so I don't really have a mouse problem. And that's another thing too. I don't want to just throw a chunk of poison in there and just have a poor dead animal rotting under my house.
Especially because if you put poison down for mice, then cats that get them can get poisoned too.
Ooh, that's two birds with one stone, because there are way too many fucking cats running around here. Yeah, I think actually it was before there was a skunk made a home down there. Is the cats, the neighbors' cats would go under my house. It was really annoying.
Piss and shit everywhere. Nice.
Yeah, they smell really bad. They got all over my wood pile. I go out there to get wood to chop for my fireplace. I'm like, oh my god, it smells like cat shit. No, it's like, but it burns real good. No. Throw on some of those cat embers.
Yikes! Oh my god!
I was like, it's the circle of life, and
I love Karl Marx.
Oh god!
Yeah. Anyone says that around here where I live, though, it's like,
Slap my salami, the guy's a commie.
I wish they didn't have all that music sting in the background, but I've always loved that little clip. Slap my salami, the guy's a commie.
Yeah.
So, and then if I go to tell anyone my problems or anything like that, I'm just like, I really need to talk to you about something. And their first question is,
you're pooping the bed?
I'm like, no. How many times do I have to tell you? No.
I got over that.
Enough soundboard for now.
Never enough.
Stop.
Yeah. Oh, they stop using the soundboard every once in a while. No, they don't.
They've been known to.
Okay. So,
yes.
Since I've just been talking, we got a reply in our family group chat. I sent that
I
joke.
didn't look at it. I haven't
The
read
future, the present, and the past walk into a bar. Things got a little tense.
it. I've seen it.
Oh, is it that funny?
Holy fucking shit.
Okay. All right.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about something. Okay. I don't know of any fun stuff that I have on here. One thing that I wrote down like a couple weeks ago, which is near the tail end of my overuse of Twitter, but still, it's discourse everywhere. It's just especially a Twitter thing. But it was about the Harry Potter game. I don't, especially because I'm not a huge gamer.
Yeah.
In the traditional modern, in the normally accepted modern sense. Like, I play video games for sure. Honestly, it was really slow at work, and I played Fallout on my laptop in the back room for like 3 hours yesterday.
Nice.
I got all my shit done. No one was calling. No one was doing anything. I was like,
Yeah,
well,
you
I'm
just have
playing
to be
Fallout.
there. Yeah.
Playing Fallout 1.
Yeah.
But I feel like my non-interest in the Wizard game kind of gives me a good view on it, and yours would be even better.
Yeah, I'm not really sure I know it's because of J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, it's just because
from it, right?
Yeah, and, you know, we all know that she's a horrible transphobe and yada yada.
No,
but
she's a great transphobe. Like, she's so
yeah,
good
she's
at
pretty
being
good
a
at it.
transphobe. Yeah,
She's
one of the best.
so good
I
at
would
it.
say.
She's convinced a lot of otherwise sane people that she isn't a transphobe, which is fucking stupid.
Though, actually,
But,
I think that who won the transphobe person of the year? Matt Walsh.
Oh, that actor, Matt Walsh from Veep?
Yeah, from Veep. He's such a huge
That
transphobe.
bald
What a
fuck.
What a ginger douchebag, I just...
Maddie the ginger douchebag.
Okay, let's make it clear that we're not talking about that Matt Walsh because we love him.
You what?
Yeah.
We
No,
love
do
him. Absolutely.
Yes.
We're talking
We
about
love him?
You what?
the bearded and bespeckled pedophile Matt Walsh. He's a known and proud transphobe. Don't look him up
Oh, yeah.
ever.
Well, he's everywhere. You don't even have to look him up. If you're into politics, you're going to come across him. I mean, he's a huge part of the Daily Wire, and he's got enough of a rod up his butt that he'll show up at fucking school board meetings and say his inane fascist bullshit. Sorry for even including that word in with what he does. It's not inane.
No, I know.
It's
I
very
was kind of-
explicit and proactive, and it has nothing to do with our podcast.
Yeah, he says that children are better growing. It's better for them to grow up in orphanages than be adopted by gay people.
Yeah,
So,
he's
he's got a good head on his shoulders. It's made a
it's
solid
like he's
rock.
hateful. He's unlikable. He's a bigot, and on top of all that, he's a fucking idiot. Like, God, I can't stand it. I mean, he's leagues behind Ben Shapiro, and that's saying something. There's a reason Ben Shapiro's his boss. But,
I digress.
yeah, compared to Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro's like...
I love Karl Marx.
Well, that's another thing that I had written down just right underneath the Harry Potter game thing that I wrote down was... Maybe the reason Matt, the bearded fucktard Walsh, that's what I wrote,
Nice.
is constantly asking his... Okay, the way that I write things sometimes, is I just don't even go back to read it until I'm on the podcast. Asking his number one question, is constantly asking his question, which is, what is a woman? well, what is a woman? You know, just like what his documentary is named after.
Yeah.
Maybe the reason Matt, the bearded fucktard Walsh, is constantly asking his number one question is to feign ignorance as a future alibi. When he's finally unearthed as being a creep with underage girls, he can claim that he literally doesn't know what a woman is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just building a foundation right now because he'd be like, "What girls? No, this is a woman." It's like she's 14, man.
I mean, he's only like one step away from. I'm sure guys in his replies that agree with him are ones that are like the legal age of consent should be, I don't know, birth or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah, American alt-right libertarian morons. R words. Okay, so back to, let's see. Oh, so with the Harry Potter game, I mean, of course, for one thing, it's kind of an interesting discussion in a way, but it just devolves into the online left at each other's throats, making no progress, getting people like Jessie Gender, who I just generally disagreed with her take on the Wizard game, the Harry Potter game, but she's a trans woman. I mean, it's like, I mean, I understand it all. I think it's an interesting discussion. She had very good points. Other people have their own views. Hassan had a lot different views. There's a big thing between kind of those two sides of it. You know, leaving out just the dumb people like, well, now I'm going to buy 2 copies because it makes the trans people mad. You know, fuck them. They're not part of this discussion. But
you know what? That actually is exactly what, when you said, is there something I wanted to talk about? It was about the online left, particularly where it's like, I don't care about like people who I disagree with, like disagreeing with me that are like hateful, like right-wing people. It's like, I don't expect them to like be on my page or my side or whatever, or to care. But it's really hurtful when people on the left that you're supposed to be like teammates with are the ones that are coming at you. Besides all the progress that it doesn't make, it just personally hurts a lot. Like you said, like you had an interaction with someone that like you admired on Twitter, and then for them to call you like a whatever, it's like, dang, like I don't get any sort of empathy. Like I'm immediately like on the same, just like totally
they
dismissed,
called me an idiot
instead of just understanding that I'm like just maybe ignorant or something, like that. At least give me a little bit more compassion than these like dumb right-wing motherfuckers who just like actively hate you. At least I'm trying, I'm here in this conversation and stuff, like, and to be dismissed like that, it feels like ouch. Like,
yeah, and that's a broader perspective. I just wanted to get in here with this note was with the play or not to play of the Harry Potter game itself. I was like, I think the worst part of this discourse is the fact that the boycott side got big enough to make it not just because it's like, you know, they're never going to be at the point where that faction of people, of trans advocates or whatever may be, or just leftist virtue signalers, no matter what. I mean, if they're boycotting it, they're boycotting it. You know, it's never going to reach a point where that's going to like actually, you know, affect the sales. I guess, I mean, this thing was even bigger than I thought it would be. It was like a huge seller. You know, to me, I just don't really care.
Harry Potter's pretty fucking popular.
Well, yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
But I mean, for a video game, I was like, oh, I guess there just never was really good Harry Potter video games. Must be the reason. I was like, and honestly, it'd be if someone had said like, yeah, it's pretty much Rockstar Games made it, and it's pretty much Grand Theft Auto, but it's at Hogwarts. I'd be like, oh, I'd want to play that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, oh, this is getting a really, this is quite a discussion.
Yeah,
no, but
like, what are my morals on this?
Yeah, exactly. No, but so the fact that the boycott side just got big enough to make some people feel like they're doing something for the trans community simply by not playing a fucking video game. I think that's kind of this, it's an undiscussed part of this whole thing. It's like, okay, you can make your statement, you can give the reasons why you pretty much say it's transphobic to play the video game, which is a whole thing, right? And I mean, and this went far enough to get like Jessie Gender like quit Twitter because of this, and like I said, and I love Jessie Gender. I love her videos. She's great, and but even me, like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I disagreed with, and she was very passionate about it too. But it's like, I don't know. This is kind of where, you know, the debate lies, is whether, getting into things like using the master's tools to bring down the house, and you know, she says, well, you can never do that. I'm like, that's kind of what the debate is. Some people think that you should, and blah, 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 blah. Because Hassan was talking about playing the game and streaming it to make money to donate to trans causes, like in J.K. Rowling's name. And it's like, and everyone's like, on Jessie Gender's side is saying, well, just play a different game. You still don't have to play the game. You're still supporting this, you know. It's just a weird conversation in the first place, because it's like, I don't know, the people that choose not to play it because they feel like not only it makes them a better ally, but it, like, the fact that some people are going to think, yes, I'm doing good for the trans community because I didn't buy a Harry Potter video game, is like virtue signaling at its finest. It's actual virtue signaling.
Yeah.
It's not just throwing this around. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter that you didn't buy this fucking video game. What are you talking about? And I'm not saying that like, I'm not out marching in the streets or writing congressmen either, but I'm not going to say that I'm doing a bunch for the trans community or something, because I'm not. You know, I wish that I were. But I've got a skunk in my house.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I mean, for not playing a video game or playing a video game, is that the litmus test for whether or not you're a transphobe? That's a really,
well,
it
that's
seems
the
like
whole
just
discussion.
such like, yeah.
It
like
already seems so absurd, right?
Yeah. And like abstract, and like so much more of the, like, sure, I mean, duh, J.K. Rowling will make money, and I can really understand, people not wanting to support that, but it's not like she's... But if the video game isn't successful, like, what, she's going to be poor or have, like, less say in, like, her turfdom or whatever? Like, she's already really super, super fucking rich. Like, you know, so... I guess, it seems just like an interesting place to make a stand, and for it to be so meaningful, like you're saying, like to not play this game. Like,
just the people
it doesn't even
are,
really have an effect on J.K. Rowling at all, whether you buy it or not. So what is that doing for her? She doesn't fucking
any
care.
Trans people, you know. I mean, I mean, the from the opposing side, like Jessie Gender's side, I mean, I you know, just part of it at least. I'm not going to put words in her mouth. She said a lot about it, but I mean, it's more that it's like, if you're involved in this community, even just online left or whatever it might be, if you say that you support trans people's rights, if you know, and you know that J.K. Rowling is a notorious transphobe and that she donates to, you know, anti-queer causes and all this stuff, like, if you know all this stuff and you still play the video game, you're making that choice, and that's transphobic. And it's like, but I don't know, man.
I mean, I can totally 100%.
You can't put it down to, it's just, I feel like it also just kind of downplays, like, transphobia, you know, playing a video game is not the same as people, like, you know, voting in people that are literally trying to erase trans people from the United States of America through legislation, or, you know, let alone being outwardly bigoted, and assaulting trans people, you know, of course, besides that. But it's like, I don't know. It just really sucks. Really sucks that something so popular has to have such a piece of shit doing it. Like, I mean, that's, and it's one of those things where you can't boil it down to, well, whatever. I mean, yeah, so she's a transphobe, but there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. You can't really choose it. It's like, yeah, but it's a fucking video game, so you don't have to consume it at all. But
you don't have to, of course. Yeah. You don't have to do a lot of stuff, but I mean, I'm not a trans person, so yeah, I know that my input doesn't really carry a lot of weight, or I don't really have an understanding, and I can really sympathize with like how it would feel though to feel that way and to be like, oh my god, these people still want to support, like, she's such a fucking piece of shit. She thinks like what she thinks about me is like so unbelievably insulting and dehumanizing, and being really angry about it. But it just seems like an interesting one to really make a stand on. I mean, whatever. Something that people want to play, though. Yeah, I don't know that I would really. Harry Potter has really lost a lot of its luster for me. For sure, I grew up reading it, but anytime I think of it now, it's just like, I mean, I think of J.K. Rowling, so
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm pretty.
But other
happy.
people can.
Oh, don't take that out of context. Yeah.
No.
No, sorry, I just didn't want to interrupt. I was just going to say, I'm pretty happy that I'm one of the, I guess, very few white millennials that doesn't really care about Harry Potter. It's like, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed reading it with the family, and I got the first 4 books read and didn't really continue, and it was just, whatever. It's just, I mean, I didn't think it would be as long lasting as it was. I mean, I remember it being so huge. Of course, it was crazy. And even back then, remember these same fucking right wing kooks were trying to cancel it because it had witchcraft in it. You know how quaint all that was.
A bunch of people in our town wouldn't, like, a bunch of my friends couldn't read it. They weren't allowed to.
Well, because none of your friends knew how to read, but you
small
whipped
town
them
living.
into shape. Yeah.
No,
and
oh,
go
what?
ahead. No, you
Oh,
go.
I just was thinking, it just is like, people having to make, it's just such a fucking bummer that people have to make so many, okay, it's not a sacrifice to not play a video game, but that your ethics are compromised by just trying to consume some fucking art that someone else put out because of the kind of shitty opinions they have. Like, if you didn't know that they made it, maybe these things would be fun and you wouldn't be able to read into them any sort of transphobia or whatever, but we can't because we know that they have those opinions, and it just fucking sucks. It sucks that people suck, I guess, is what it comes down to.
It sucks that capitalism sucks, right? The fact that supporting art or enjoying, art or entertainment, all comes down to you're giving these people money, right? And everything's based on money. You're giving people power to enjoy, their art, right? Their entertainment and stuff. And it's just like, I mean, we've got to...
Then these people get super
live our
rich
lives
because...
somehow. The fact that, that all of your... The fact that consumerist culture and, capitalism, I guess, just to throw it out again and stuff, is so ingrained into our lives that it's like... I mean, that's why virtue signaling is a thing, because all of your values can only be displayed through your consumption. Nice. And like so much now, it's like the consumption of media like shows what kind of person you are. It's fucking crazy. Like it's not a good place to be as a nation. It's
but then people
and it just makes it puts your entire life, like your values and stuff, like it slowly feeds into it being out of your control. And it's determined by those who create media,
Yeah, and there's such like a reverence for people with money that when people like artists, like they become popular, like J.K. Rowling, and make a lot of money, maybe she wouldn't have been such a horrible fucking transphobe if she hadn't gotten so rich and out of touch. Like if she could have been like more like a normal person and like not had this entitlement or whatever to this opinion and feel like she's, this unearned sense of superiority, because just because you wrote some books that people liked doesn't mean that you're better than anyone or smarter than anyone. Well, not, or whatever, like you still are, you don't know everything. And just because you have because people have a bunch of fucking money, they think that they do. Yes.
Yeah, and it just shouldn't mean that their personal views should have any power in the... Yeah, exactly. Should have any weight in the public sphere or discourse, but unfortunately that's how it goes. That's
unless you're
the
really
only
creating
way
some
that it happens.
Commentary art, not like a fun kids book and an adventure story and blah, blah, blah. Wow, good versus evil? Where'd you come up with that? It's like just a fun story that had like for kids, and that's why it was so popular, because there's a bunch of fucking kids in the world. So it doesn't mean that she had like some great perspective on like these real philosophical pontifications and like really like wow, challenging the worldview and like social constructs and stuff like that. She just got rich because her book was fun to read. And like even the first book, it's not even that great of a writer. It just caught like the imagination, and then with marketing and stuff, like able to really, it compounded on that. And until she thinks that she has like some sort of like her other books are not very good either. Like her non-children's books, she's not that great of a writer. So capitalism strikes again.
I'm not a huge J.K. Rowling fan like you, though. I mean, you've read all of them. All of her detective novels, and but still, after reading them a couple times, you're like,
not good.
So,
the third read through of The Last Vacancy, I was like, I don't think I like this book.
you had to ask J.K. Rowling, like, hey, Joanne,
hey, babe,
you're pooping the bed.
You poop in the bed.
You really seem like you're pooping the bed on this one.
I read that book that you
pooped in
wrote
the bed
after Harry Potter, and I gotta say
that was, and I don't say this lightly, worse than 100 September 11th.
Yeah. She's like, September 11th, what's that? It's just a day. I'm like, shut up, Britty. British people don't know anything about America.
They've been known to.
No, they don't. Like Eric Clapton in the Revolutionary War. But so anyway, that whole, it's tough to even like get into that conversation. That's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, I've just waded through it so much on Twitter that it's like even trying to discuss it, I just start putting my face in my hands and going like,
Does ContraPoint say anything?
I don't even care that he's a misogynist.
That's what she said about
she says
me.
Stuff like
that. I don't know. She probably did. I don't know if she weighed in on that much. I don't see her on Twitter as often as I do others. Jessie Gender was one that really got into it, and I mean among other people, but that's just my Twitter bubble, really. Our Twitter bubble, because it's all through Inane Blather. But so let's see. Speaking of women,
I love Karl Marx.
Speaking of women, I did write here. What do you think about this? Okay. The reason for thousands of years of patriarchal oppression against women is a totally valid insecurity about the absolute power that women have. Yes. Modesty culture, for example, is repeated gaslighting to ensure that women don't completely fucking annihilate us men, because beautiful, smart, and openly sexual women are like a supernova to our little male egos. We've got to convince them that it's for their own good that they keep that raw power under wraps.
Yeah, like, I mean, that is the... I've definitely had that thought a lot about... I mean, well, that's not just me, but, like, feminists say that,
is that
like, they're just scared of... Yeah, absolutely. And, I took... I did a sensual dance class with a couple of my friends, and one of the things that we did, we were, like... It's like a huge mirror, of course, in like a dance studio, and we were practicing like walking towards it, and it's like this very sensual.
Oh, because you're women. You're like, there's a huge mirror, of course. No.
Because we have to check our lipstick and stuff. And so like walking towards it and everyone looking really good and like trying to like, feel the sensuality in your body, you could totally see like how intimidating or whatever you want to say, powerful, I would say, it was to see these women really feeling themselves and like exuding this energy. It's like, because that's why we say we're queens, we're goddesses and stuff. There's a real power to women. We're incredibly capable of getting shit done, even when having baby men to take care of and stuff. That's I think it is like high heel shoes, keeping us so we can't making us carry purses. I love my fanny pack now. It was the patriarchy that convinced us that fanny packs weren't cool, so we could have our hands free.
In your Subaru. Well, I think
granola
that's why
and cat hair.
I think that's why I. It's full of cat hair.
Yes.
You're just like, I think there's some granola in here among all the cat
I don't want
hair.
to throw
I
it
keep
away.
my cat's
it's my
hair.
Yeah, it's my cat's hair.
What if
I'm not
he
gonna
wants
throw
it back?
His baby hair. Oh, his
He's
baby tooth.
my roommate, okay? And he deserves just
I don't
as
own
much rights.
him.
Yeah, exactly.
Why I make him pay rent?
You can't just own animals, man.
I can because I'm not a penniless hippie.
But I think that's, the modesty culture thing is what had brought it to mind, is why I wrote it down, was that even when, accepting the fact that women can just generally do the things that guys can, when outside of like a patriarchal structure or even within it, it's like, so if they can do that, we're at this baseline and they're just objectively the more beautiful sex.
Yeah, have you ever had
like,
sex with a woman? It's unbelievable. Women are so fucking hot and like sensual and sexy. I mean, there's some good sex to be had with men, but women are pretty
I'll tell you what,
incredible.
I know better as a man. It's not. It's not as good as sex with women.
I mean, it's special. It's
no,
very
but there's just something
incredible.
about how it's like even from either perspective, with the way that we view, these things or beauty or sexuality and stuff like that, women just have that as, in terms of the gender separation. So it's like, so now you get, we that's why I said it's a valid insecurity. It's like, well, but then we're not as good in any respect.
You know what it is? Freud had it exactly wrong because he was, a man. It's not penis envy. It's clit envy, because the clitoris is the only organ that's sole purpose is for pleasure. It serves no other function. You don't have to have it engaged in any way to get pregnant, for sure. You can get pregnant, while you really don't enjoy the sexual interaction. And so a penis, obviously, it has other functions, like you pee out of your penis being
and you
a
have
major
to
one.
use it to ejaculate.
Yeah,
in
like
case
a
you
clit,
didn't know.
it just I don't have to use a penis
I think
to
you need one to
ejaculate.
get to impregnate a woman. Yeah, so you can't
but
just mash
like
your
clitoris,
balls in there and dump it in.
Yeah, a clitoris is just there solely for like pleasure, and that's what makes me so. One of the aspects of what makes me so mad about like reproductive rights and stuff, and about like keep your legs closed and blah 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 blah. It's like, like slut shaming and modesty culture and all those kinds of things, like to keep down women's actually physically natural like sexuality. Like our bodies are made for pleasure. Yeah, like we are like there. It's right there. I mean, it's like a button for like just like sexual pleasure and stuff. It's not.
And I mean, I'm sure knowing zero about this aspect of it, but that's why knowing zero about women. If this thing that you're describing is in fact real, this clitoris,
we're gonna
that
fact
you were
check
saying,
that. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up. But pretty extreme examples of patriarchal oppression would include female genital
Gender
mutilation. Yeah, exactly. That's right. Oh, okay.
Absolutely, yeah. That's it's pretty sick. I can't
I
even
mean, it makes sense
really
to me.
imagine that.
You just said why. It's only for pleasure. They don't need it.
Yeah, what
It's
women
all
need
making
pleasure.
sense now.
They don't see, and that whole women don't even like sex. That attitude is so infuriating because of the clitoris.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
well,
like
point
you're the
me.
ones
Yeah.
talking about how you believe in biology or whatever, while
Yeah.
you're making
Explain that to
also
me.
making
Yeah.
arguments against reproductive rights and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
you just want to hate trans people. It's like, oh, you like biology, huh? Okay, well, explain the clitoris, and then they're like, the what? No. Including the women. The what?
Haven't seen it. Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
Wingus, dingus, listen up.
That's what. Yeah, that's I don't know.
You're gonna.
That's
be
the
given,
left and right ball right there.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm like, you hear this? There's a real feminist talking about female issues.
Yeah.
But gosh, where was I going with that?
That's why there was the sexual revolution and stuff. Women want, I mean, an aspect of it, of us being denied that part of our humanity, is that women like to fuck
yeah.
too.
Yeah, even if you're gonna talk about God made all this, like you were saying, it's like, well, God made that organ. Then, right? God made.
Yeah, he made a body made for fucking. So
yeah, sure.
let's get after it.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. So, just tons of unprotected sex is what Natalie condones.
I'm a proponent, actually. of
Big
that.
proponent. I am pro. Yeah,
Proponent.
Sexual Revolution 2.0. Yeah, it's
Everyone
pretty
fucks everyone.
Oh man,
That's
I need
mine.
to go back, and I was thinking about the podcast because it was more like, well, I wish I could remember stuff like this and sound smart and just be smarter. But was
Good luck.
yeah, but I was listening again to Nixon Land, and some of the section on the backlash to sexual revolution stuff of the late 1960s. It's all the fucking same, man. It's the same
is a flat
as the
circle.
anti-pride stuff, the same rhetoric, all of this, about the degeneracy. Oh, and because, yes, what brought it up was the backlash to sex ed in schools. This is 1969.
Nice.
And yeah, makes sense, right?
I love Karl Marx.
But yeah, and how it was really kind of interesting. The kind of leader of the movement to get the type of sex ed that we think of nowadays, really, when they came up with this, because it's fucking science, man, and it's smart and it's good to
It's fucking
teach
science.
children. Yeah, no, but
Nice.
to teach children certain things at certain
About
ages,
their
and opening up,
bodies.
about bodies and reproduction, reproductive health. All of that stuff,
It's just
knowing more
science.
the closer you get to, the age where kids will be having sex, and so, when the first outlines, the education plans for this sort of thing came out, it was really widely accepted by institutionally from both sides, really, because it's just smart. It's good policy. It's good for education. It's good for sexual health outcomes. All of that. I mean, it's plain and simple. It's clear as day for anyone with a fucking brain, right?
It's
that
just
hasn't
about
been rotted
spreading the
out by
knowledge
Tucker
that
Carlson.
the things that we've learned about human bodies and spreading it onto the next generation so we don't get fucking dumber instead of smarter.
Yeah.
Like, legit,
and I mean,
that's exactly
even
what it is.
the one, so-called valid, like, response, from people could be like, well, it's all of that is well and good, but it should be from the parents or the clergy, funnily enough. But the argument. Parents, yeah, exactly, instead of the public school, which, whatever, if that's your argument, that's your argument. You're not actually arguing that this shouldn't be taught to kids. You're just arguing that it should be taught to them by someone else, that you just don't want a public school teacher doing it, whatever. But it eventually,
even though someone else isn't going to be able to teach it because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because just because you have kids doesn't mean you know anything about reproductive health.
Yeah, it's not a smart thing, but I'm saying that's like the only somewhat valid response, criticism from someone. And you can, if that's the case, then you keep them out of sex ed class and you teach it yourself. See how that turns out. Hopefully it's good for the kids. I just want what's good for the kids.
It won't be.
Unlike you people. But it's crazy how that spread out of control with the propaganda, like in Nixon land, as he's just listing just these either articles shared, stuff like that, these reactions, complete fucking fake news. It's just like how it happens on the internet today. This was 1969. And like how eventually, people are saying, oh yeah, in a sex ed class in this high school, two teachers were fucking in front of the class to show kids how to do this.
What
or
the
other
fuck?
kids were, and people believe this crap. Or they were, just completely out of this world stuff that you see boomers on Twitter believing. It was the, litter boxes in classrooms of that time. And none of it was true. Tons of people hear this crap. They believe it because they're already poised to believe something that's going to affirm that I think it's weird, that kids are going to learn about sex. And so it reinforces that ignorance, right? And it all happened just the same way. And of course, then the lines are drawn and people are on one side of an issue that should not be any part of a culture war whatsoever, but now it is. It's too late. It's already too far gone.
The reason it's part of the culture war is for voting power, for political power, just to use it as a tool. Because, okay, I was just talking about at work, about the reason that they're, the backlash for Roe versus Wade was, manufactured. Leading up to Roe versus Wade, Baptists, evangelicals were, saying that's, the life of the mother, the welfare of the family, and all that. There's a lot of legitimate reasons to have an abortion, and they were supportive. Evangelicals were supportive of Roe versus Wade. They said it was good for liberty, and non-government interference and stuff into people's lives. And it was a Catholic issue. Evangelicals didn't really, they were either apathetic or supportive of this. And Paul Weyrich, the co-founder of the Heritage Foundation, and Jerry Falwell, they made this. Okay, it started because they couldn't get enough people behind racial segregation as a political tool, so they needed to find something else. Yeah. And they thought abortion would be a topic that they could really amp people up about. They made propaganda film, went around on a film series it was scary. It's what happened to all the humans? This really disturbing imagery with dead baby dolls all strewn across the beach and moral decay and leading into
the
this
moral
panic,
majority, right? That's
manufacturing
the
a panic.
foundation of that.
Yes,
right?
that's exactly. And then making that the litmus test because like Jimmy Carter wouldn't like make it unconstitutional or whatever, like to have an abortion, they wanted to outlaw it or whatever. They used that as a test to like to turn people into single issue voters, to make people believe something they did not believe in the first place, just so they could gain political power, to make Ronald fucking Reagan the president, who when he was governor of California had the most lenient like abortion laws like in the country. So it was not about any values. It wasn't about abortion. It was not about babies. It was about political power. And now we're at the point evangelicals make up like the backbone of the anti-choice movement, and you're talking about, they're saying that all women who have abortions are baby murderers. When back when Roe versus Wade was overturned, those same people would have been like, that's good for like these women to be able to make the decision like legitimately. All of these things, misinforming people on purpose just so they can get more voters. It's fucking disgusting.
I wonder, gosh, how can I look this up real quick? Did you hear about that someone is filing suit on behalf of the unborn fetus? They're taking this woman who's been in jail and has been mistreated and pregnant and yada yada. I mean, she's in jail like awaiting trial for second-degree murder. But she's not convicted. I don't know anything about her. But because I forget which state it's in. I just read this somewhere. I wish I could. Is
it Texas?
Let's see. Pregnant woman suing unborn. Okay, let's see here. Okay, yes. Okay. Ooh, I'm not going to read it from the Catholic News Agency. Okay, so the Washington Post. Pregnant woman's fetus should be released from jail. Yeah, it's Florida. Yeah. Suing the state of Florida over wrongful imprisonment of her unborn fetus. And in a test of fetal personhood. So, which, I mean, it's more just of like a legal issue, but it's very interesting, I think, where it's just...
I hope it doesn't set some horrible precedent that fetuses or something, like abortions are like legit murder.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. It's like, well, are you going to put your money where your mouth is, though? If they have personhood, then this fetus has not been charged with a crime. This fetus is being wrongfully imprisoned. Let's see. Yeah, the attorney filed a petition that alleges the unborn child has committed no crime and should be released.
Wow.
And what sucks is that on top of just that interesting legal question, no, they've treated her like shit. They've done things that you should never put a pregnant woman through. She sat in a corrections van without air conditioning in Florida while it was like 100 degrees. They don't give her nutritious enough meals, of course. She's in jail. She doesn't get vitamins. You're in jail. It's not a good place to be pregnant. It's not a good way to be healthy, period, as a person. Yeah, exactly. And you want to be as healthy as you can when you're carrying a child. Or a fetus, but
when you're pregnant,
And what's crazy, and then just reading about it, it's like, I get it, like it's probably a big case that's going to trial, but she's been in jail without bond since July. Her trial doesn't start until April. It's like, this person hasn't been fucking convicted of anything. Like, this whole system fucking sucks. Like, God.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was 6 weeks pregnant. When she was accused of fatally shooting another woman and charged with second-degree murder. Now, 8 months along, says the jail staff has endangered the fetus by refusing proper prenatal care and putting her in situations like the incident in the transport van. The allegations are a part of a writ of habeas corpus. Her attorney filed last week in the 3rd District Court of Appeal. While habeas corpus filings typically allege that a person is being illegally detained, Harrell's lawyer has instead argued that it is Harrell's fetus who is being improperly jailed. So, It says, so they
That's
do
a
it.
Jimmy McGill move right there.
Yes, I did read a comment like that. I said Saul Goodman would be proud. But the petition, says the, quote, unborn child is innocent and should be discharged from jail so it can receive proper care. And that would require her to be released until the child is born. So
Yeah. I don't know what the rules are in Florida right now for like abortions and what their personhood is. Like, or like,
well, I
don't know what.
That's the thing. It's like, well, I'm sure it doesn't allege any, like, the abortion laws typically wouldn't refer to personhood.
Well, I don't know what they are. I don't know
abortions. Which then it's like, well, what's the reasoning behind?
Well, that's what I mean.
These rules, but also it's like, what you have to have reasoning behind laws that get passed. You voted these people in; they vote for a law. Well, that's democracy. That's why democracy simply doesn't work. Let's see, Florida abortion. Man, I'm bad at typing.
And it just comes up with George Santos. I mean, not George Santos, Ron DeSantis. Florida abortion.
Yeah. Florida abortion. Yeah. Oh, God. So, abortion is legal in the first 15 weeks. Pregnant people must wait at least 24 hours after an initial visit to have an abortion, in addition to forced parental consent and notification for those under 18. Wow, the judges blocked youth abortion access. And this is just a week after the good old headline, Florida couple unable to get abortion will have to see their baby die after delivery. Wow, good job, guys. You're doing really great.
Really great work there. That's because it's like, okay, so abortions are illegal after 16 weeks because why? Because that's a person at 16 weeks? Is that what you're saying? Then it's murder? Like, is that what you're saying? Because literally, otherwise, the law genuinely doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just an arbitrary measurement unless you're going to give me a reasoning why at 16 weeks and 1 day, that I can't do this. So what is it?
And
I guess that's what they're trying to find out. But
on top of all that, and me just kind of shittily saying, well, they can just make the laws that they want, unfortunately, with the system we have in place. On top of that, according to the ACLU, 2/3 of Florida voters think abortion should be legal. So
that's
like,
the
where
same
are you people
thing
fucking coming from?
Everywhere in the United States. Kansas had an opportunity in the midterms to outlaw abortion, and they didn't do it. It doesn't really matter what state you're in. Most Americans think that abortion should be allowed in all or most cases. It's like 60% of Americans. That's across all of the states. It's pretty much the same, that they think that women should have the right to choose what they do with their body.
With their own fucking
most
body.
People in America, yes, most people in America believe that. It is a minority of people that don't believe that. And it's really frustrating that we're being so not represented by our representatives. It seems unacceptable. Like that there should be some sort of measurement that if you can find these statistics by unbiased research on what people are thinking, not just voting. Like you can be taking polls and stuff. And if our legislation is not aligning with what we're wanting, we should have some recourse besides fucking elections. They should have to have some standards like job accountability, like every fucking other person who has
George
a job
Santos.
has to do. You have to be meeting like quotas or whatever you have to be doing, like actually doing your fucking job and not just be elected in. And because elections are rigged because of capitalism.
Okay, Trump. All right, Trump.
I know.
Well, I know you already plan on voting for Trump. I
already did.
I can't. We were talking about Reddit
what?
before recording, and it's like that's one thing that staying in the Twitter bubble had kept me away from. I used to be a very avid r/politics viewer and user, and it's like, oh my gosh, they are so libbed up over there. Oh my god, they love Joe Biden so much, and it's like, okay, I get it. I mean, they're not fascists, but like hold someone's feet to the fire. Reading Reddit politics posts, it's like, oh, did I wander into those boomer lib Twitter spaces again where it's like, raise your hand if you got your booster and you love Joe Biden? It's like, oh my God.
Oh God.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, the fact that it sure seems like Biden's gonna run again. Like,
Yes.
I don't know. I'm pretty worried. Pretty worried about it. I would like it if he maybe picked a different vice president.
Okay,
I think
I'll
that
tell
would
you,
reinvigorate the party.
I talked to a woman at the door when I was knocking on doors. She was so fucking cool. And she like knows Jill Biden and like knows like these like higher ups and
Sure.
we were talking about it a little bit
sure
and
she
she was
does.
saying she was a professor at University of Washington. Her husband's a judge.
Cool.
And like she was, oh my God, she was so cool. But
She's
she
a
was
professor.
She was
saying,
she was a
I
professor. She
love
just-
Karl Marx.
because she's a professor. You know?
yeah, she was like of Scandinavian studies or, and like women and
Wow.
Scandinavian culture and stuff. It was really,
Cool.
she was so interesting. She's like, I wish you were one of my students. I was like, you would have been like my favorite professor.
Yeah.
But, anyways, she was talking about, a new running mate. She's like, Joe will be back, but, who's going to be the running mate? Because blah, 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 blah. She was saying that, I think that's kind of an agreement. People that are supporting the Democrats and stuff would like a new vice president.
Yeah.
That Kamala is
at the least. And it's like
trash.
the people that, all these people that gave up, their, I mean, you didn't really have the Bernie bro problem of 2016, which wasn't as huge as the media made it out to be, of course, but I mean, the disaffected people on the left that give up and vote for you schmucks, it's like, I don't know. I'm just not seeing what these libs are seeing, where it's just like, well, yeah, he's been so great. He's done so much. I mean, he's been all right, but it's like,
I mean,
stuff
I
that's
love
being
Joe Biden,
yeah,
but not as president.
yeah, he's old as fuck. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, it's just, even if he isn't like suffering from dementia, which like, even if he's not, he's still so out of touch. Like, good Lord, he's so
he built the
old.
railroads. What does he know?
But and anyway, and it's like, and it's about like leadership, like executive leadership. Like, come on. But what sucks is that, like, as someone who votes for Democrats often, like, I mean, I don't care about presidential, like, it doesn't matter for me because of the electoral college, so whatever. But it's like, I thought it was pretty cool when it was like, the plan was that he would be a one-term president. Like, get the White House back, get Trump out of here, and go from there, and get younger people, younger Democrats in, like, keep some forward momentum. And now for them just to go back on that, just like how he went back on student loan debt forgiveness, just how they had
he wasn't even going to run to begin with.
Yeah.
On that.
And it's like, yeah. But, oh, I don't know. It just makes me really worried. It's like, he should, I'm no political science major, I'm no politics nerd. No, but it's like, maybe some people will be worried about lame duck presidency when he says, no, I'm going to be stepping aside. But if there was someone right now, because the election's next year, you know how long all this shit is in America, and Trump has been running since day one of Joe Biden's presidency. It's like, if we had a shining beacon of who would be next for the Democrats, that you'd be like building up or making your vice president if you want to run again. Like, you know, it's like then whatever you can, when you keel over in office in your second term or decide to step down because you're 81 fucking years old, then it would be fine. You know, if suddenly Stacey Abrams was his VP or something
literally
like that.
Exactly who I was thinking about.
Just
right,
anyone
I was
other than
that.
like Kamala or Pete Buttigieg or some bullshit like
also,
that.
Also, like Kamala Harris has not done. Like, I know the do nothing, whatever vice president.
Yeah.
I feel like we heard a lot more from Mike Pence than we did from Kamala.
Yeah,
and
they've
like
fucked her
legit
over,
do
though.
nothing at all. Well, for sure, but also like can we not do anything? We have no strides.
Yeah.
We can get no progress done. Like immigration, like all this huge thing that was like a crisis. Like Amnesty International is trying to help at the America-Mexico border because of how we treat immigrants and stuff, how we separate children from their families, how
Ron
children
DeSantis
are not getting
is
back to
spending
their
millions
parents
of dollars
ever.
flying them to a different state
Yeah.
and dropping them off in the middle of the fucking
Human
night.
fucking trafficking,
Yeah.
legitimately is happening, and there's not even repercussions for that. Nothing is being done. They're really wasting a lot of the power that the Trump anger brought out, and how disgusted we were with some of the things that we were doing.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit, to keep pushing in the right direction and to keep people involved, to not get apathetic about the crises that we have here in America. Everything was so laid bare with Trump and COVID. All of it was oh my God, let's get something done. And then the affable nature of Joe Biden and the total silence from Kamala Harris has really gotten us nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's really a bummer. Apathy is a fucking killer.
Yes.
Have to be really careful, and they've wasted
It's
a lot of
why
the
do you
power
think
that
you
they
got,
had.
over 80 million votes, you dingus? It's because people were fucking fired up. You need to have.
You know what you're
going to
tell Joe Biden and Kamala Harris?
Wingus, dingus,
Wingus,
listen up.
dingus.
Yeah, exactly. That's. I'm gonna make some bumper stickers. It'll say "Wingus Dingus 2024," and there'll be one person throughout my whole life. Maybe they'll see it in the parking lot and be like, "Hey, that's funny, Futurama." I'm like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
marry me." I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm here with my kids, bro." He's like,
So
not
yes, I'd
only
love
can
to. I need help.
not,
Yeah.
because in
No.
2025, President Trump outlawed same-sex marriages, but I don't know you.
Yeah, it just seems like all the reconciliatory tone that Joe Biden took, and trying to be let's heal the nation, it was the wrong approach. We needed more
It was
fire
way better when he
from,
called out ultra
to-
MAGA people and got them all fucking pissed
Yeah.
off. When he went up with, he was, making a speech for the new order, post the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that's what, people wanted to hear that, really. To say that, I mean, at least people center and left of that, where they're like, thank
Which is
you,
most
I'm not
of the
insane.
fucking country.
Yeah, it's like,
most of
it's
the
like,
country.
okay, I'm not crazy. These people are
Less
bad for the
people
country.
than we
Yeah,
are.
they're dangerous for our democracy. What little democracy we have, it's, and just fucking do something, man. And now we're talk about being a lame duck
We don't even have
president.
weed
We already lost the
legalized.
house. What do you think we're gonna do? As a as a party, the Democrats, what the fuck are you gonna get done these next 2 years? Nothing. Were you gonna get done? Nothing. But
Nothing.
it's so you
Yeah.
better flex some sort of executive power politically. I mean, he visited Kiev, whatever, which was good, I guess, politically, but it's man, that was one thing where in Reddit libtard side of things, where they're just gushing over that. I'm like, what? Do you think the people in East Palestine care about that? No one cares about the war in Ukraine. Sorry.
I mean, Ukrainians care, but for
no,
sure.
No, but I mean, the American
Yeah.
voters or what even makes this possible for us to send all this shit over to them. It doesn't matter politically. Trump went to Helsinki and practically, committed sedition. And it's all foreign policy crap. Either we're at war or we're not. That's my poli-sci take here. That's what average working people and voters care about. We're at war or we're not. Okay?
You should write a paper called "Sedition in Helsinki." That's a funny thing to say.
Yeah, it's the name of an erotic novel that I'm drafting right now. About two spies who have to meet in a back alley. But, oh, man, speaking of, before we wrap it up, though, talking about caring about the war in Ukraine, I mean, of course, you know what I mean with that. But
no, I know. I was just
yeah. But Jesus criminy! So I saw on Twitter, I think maybe it was on Reddit, but straight up footage. I don't know how viral it got, or if you've seen it, or if it was going around, but like footage from like in like a trench in Ukraine from the viewpoint of this Ukrainian fighter. And they're being like pinned down. There's like a couple of Russian tanks, and he's just getting ammo. This guy who's like helping out, like looks terrified. It's so fucking terrifying. Like just running back and forth. You just hear him breathing. He's yelling. They speak Russian in Ukraine. They speak Ukrainian. Is it Russian? I don't know. See, I don't know anything.
I thought it was Ukrainian.
Yeah, so whatever it is, they're speaking some sort of, Eastern European Slavic bullshit. Some sort of disgusting language. No, but yelling at him and just like loading up like an RPG and popping up, as bullets are whizzing by and firing it off at a tank. See, you see him like gun down a guy who gets over. There's like a Russian soldier that gets near him. Just fills him full of bullets, just firing all of this stuff, and it's in the cold ground and dirt and mud, and like, it's insane. It's like, that's what people are doing over there. And you're complaining about a Harry Potter game. No,
I knew you were going to say that. No. I was going to say it too.
No, but it really, man, that stuff's real. That's like scarier than any horror movie you could see.
Yeah.
And like, and it's just like, it's 19-year-old kids that are doing that, and
because of Putin.
And like, if stuff like that was just going around constantly, maybe this whole thing would be, you want to be cynical about how you view these things politically, like maybe it would be
no, I don't.
more of an issue. Well, not you want to be, you have to be. But it's like, when it comes down to it, what I was getting towards was Biden went to Kiev. Some fucking nerds, all think that it's so great for him. Sure, his approval rating went up, I guess, but hey, the war's still going on, whether he went there or not. And
was he the one getting bullets?
Putin,
that was Joe Biden.
Rebuked Putin. Biden went Putin. There. You know where Trump went? He went to fucking Ohio. He went to East Palestine and lied his ass off. But you know what? He was there. He was there talking to these people.
He's
and
got
the
my
shit
vote.
that like fucking matters. Yeah. Which is why I'm announcing right now that
I love
Inane
Karl
Blather.
Marx.
No, Inane Blather endorses Donald Trump. As long as DeSantis is his running mate. No, but
for sure,
You
Rhonda.
Yeah, to
Ron
have
DeSantis.
a female, running mate, Rhonda DeSantis. Not that governor. That guy sucks. But
I don't even care that he's a misogynist.
okay, anyway. So, what else do you want to talk about?
Nothing.
It's been 10 days, so we could do a 2-hour episode. No. You don't have to work tomorrow. Yeah, just so everyone knows, we're recording on a Friday night because we have incredibly active social lives.
I carved out time to make this happen.
You do have an active social life, so
I do.
But you carved out time? Why'd you do that? We could have done it some other time. No one cares.
Because this is important.
No one listens to this.
It's like hanging out with you. It's like a social life, too. Ugh. We're socializing.
Yeah, you're like, it's like hanging out with you, and I just feel better when I get all my chores done.
Yeah.
Look at these.
Exactly.
Just headlines in the New York Post. God, you gotta love it. 6'6" student beat teacher unconscious for taking Nintendo Switch. I wonder. Wow, they have to. Of course, yeah. Of course, it's a black student, so they have to make sure they say he's 6'6". They even say he's 270 pounds. I mean, this is terrible. He beat a woman unconscious, but there's obviously some sort of issue here going on. This child's needs are not being met. but why is this? This is on the front page of the
New
website.
York Post.
Yeah. She's expected to recover.
Why would it? Why would that be a 6'6" black male, who beat someone up unconscious? Why would that be on the front page? I wonder what the angle is that they're trying. What narrative could they possibly be trying to push?
Hey, it's just
I don't
the
know.
facts,
I guess
man.
they just want to really
That's
inform
all that's
their
here.
readers. Yeah.
Hey, I remember in 6th grade, this often troublemaking kid that was in and out of my classes and stuff. He, when he got sent to the principal's office by a substitute, and he punched him in the face, and we saw
Oh
it
my God.
outside as he took him to the principal's office. So we were like kind of left out. He was done with him, poor substitutes dealing
Poor
with a
kid,
crappy
too.
6th grader, but he was a kind of a big kid, but still not as tall as, it's not like it should matter using teachers' names on some podcast no one ever listened to. You remember Mr. Ditton?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So he was kind of tall, kind of a big guy or whatever, but this guy just reached up and swung on him in the middle of the school. He was expelled. But
that's
some
if
issues.
you know child psychology and stuff, people like lashing out with violence because they see violence and stuff.
Oh,
That's
so you're
usually kind of an
blaming video
indicator.
games. Okay, we get it.
I'm blaming rap music.
Exactly. Yep, it's all the hip-hop music videos and the glorification of violence. Ooh, woman suddenly drops dead while working out at gym in shocking video. Cool.
Jesus Christ, you have a snuff film?
God, exactly. It's like, so they just show a video of someone dying? I don't even know. They don't even have that on Reddit anymore. Watch people die? I think that subreddit's gone.
That's like someone's like daughter, someone's like mother or friend or whatever. Just like, just watch her die.
Oh, this is in Ecuador. Oh, she had a heart attack. Captured on the gym's video footage. Yeah, captured on film. What a great way to put that. Oh my goodness. What if the New York Post is so weird? Other gym goers, most of them women, rushed to help Ramirez. Why do you...
So obviously she died because there were no doctors. It was all women.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's crazy. This makes me want to go to the gym right after this. I should.
Let's do it.
Wow, there's also some smoking hot woman, but the headline
she's dead on the treadmill.
No, the headline is, I spent 14 hours a day on my phone. My addiction left me in a wheelchair. I'll push this lady's wheelchair around any day.
If you know what I'm saying.
She developed...
I'll push her down a ramp if you know what I mean.
Let's see. Addicted to Instagram. Oh, she has 156,000 Instagram followers. The British brunette reported experiencing headaches and neck pain that gradually intensified. Started suffering dizzy spells and nausea. Says that... Jesus, she's good looking. Sorry. To say that she developed, quote, digital vertigo. Huh. Interesting.
So it was like not real. It was just digital vertigo.
No,
it was
it's
like email,
her fingers had vertigo.
Yeah.
But Wow, interesting story, New York Post. I'm going to save this name here and see if she has an OnlyFans, but I'll do that after the podcast. No,
I don't even care that he's a misogynist.
I don't even care that he's a misogynist. I think it's interesting that a person this pathetic can also be a genius whose name will never die.
Exactly. That's me. And Natalie, what do you say?
I love Karl Marx.
Oh, I know. I love hearing your voice, Natalie. But
yeah. Such a beautiful laugh.
You're pooping the bed?
Okay. Well, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you for
Shout
carving
out
out
to...
time. Shout out to
Absolutely.
RM Brown, who says
Our
our
Lord and
show
Savior.
is
Not good.
but still.
But we keep sending it to him anyways.
That was,
right?
And I don't say this lightly, worse than 100 September 11th.
Yeah. That's some of
He
the
said that
other
too.
feedback that we got. It's like,
on that note,
people don't listen to your show.
They've been known to.
Okay. Anyway, I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Love you too.
Okay. Bye bye.
Toot toot. Bye.